Every time I go to a conference or a convention, I get the nervous jitters, like deep in my belly, the butterflies and everything. Do you ever get that feeling too? Maybe I'm just a nerd, or maybe it's because I'm an extrovert. I just get so excited about surrounding myself with other people who are interested in the same thing that I am, the people who are really part of my tribe. I just haven't met them yet. Well, this is exactly how I felt the other week when I went to the Music City Fit Expo in Nashville, Tennessee with my husband, Frank. Thanks to his indestructible love for fitness, he's always on the hunt for the next coolest thing for us to do, participate in, or check out. So, of course, when he mentioned this, I was like, sign me up. At first, we were just excited to go see what kind of cool merch we could find and try some new protein, maybe get some new t-shirts. And yeah, we got all of that and then some, which I'll tell you about later. But the thing is, we actually walked away from this event with way much more than I initially imagined. And that is the topic of this episode. The top tips and insights that I got from attending the Music City Fit Expo. So what do you say? Let's just do this. Love that you're here this week. Whether you're new to the podcast or you are a faithful listener, I'll just go ahead and reintroduce myself. I am Erica, and I am just like you on a mission to be a happy and healthy person in my life. What started as a 100-pound weight loss journey has now turned into something so much more. I've unlocked the mystery behind weight loss, and it is all in our mindset. And now, as a wellness mindset coach, I am making it my mission to share all of the lifestyle and mindset tips that I learn and that I implement with my clients who are also sick and tired of the weight loss roller coaster. So how about us taking a one-way ticket to health and happiness and dive into this week's episode? I feel like it's been a long time since I've sat across the table here with my husband, Frank, on the mic.
Hi, how is everybody? It's been a minute since I've been here.
I feel like you sounded like the guy from Princess Bride, like, hello, everybody.
It may have been a little intentional.
Like Andre the Giant. Anyway, you are no giant, but you do have a giant heart and a big interest in fitness. And that's why I really love going with you, too, because it's like we're two kids in a candy store when we hit the floor of expos like this. So, like, what did you expect when we went? I'm kind of curious.
Going into this, I wasn't expecting a whole lot because I believe Music City Fit Expo had only been running maybe 2, maybe 3 years. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but seeing that they had Jay Cutler, former Mr. Olympia, as their marquee person, I was expecting them to have a good crop of vendors, and just seeing their Instagram posts, they had vendors coming out their ears. And I know how much we love Nashville. I know how much we both love fitness, so I was like, why not we go check it out? And it was actually pretty cheap to go. It was only $25 to get in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always for that, too.
Yeah.
Because, when we go, it's like, I want to buy all the merch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more fun shopping there than just ordering something online.
Yeah.
And I know you were super excited to see if Barbell Voodoo showed up, and they did.
Yeah. And what's funny is that after the fact, I found out that the owner of Barbell Voodoo is the guy that put on the expo.
Oh, okay.
So that was neat to find out afterwards.
Oh, that is very cool. And that's what's so neat about this industry, too. It's like not so flashy. In fact, like we ended up talking to one of the owners when we were there.
Yeah, he saw me wearing one of their shorts that they don't sell currently, and he ran right up to me. He's like, "Hey, I know those shorts." Gave me a fist bump and a handshake, and then we went and saw him later on.
Yeah, I'm like, who's the guy in the rubber ducky shorts?
Yeah. It makes more sense knowing that Barbell Voodoo had the biggest vendor tent of the entire expo.
Right. And so, like I said, we wanted to go with a budget for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you and I walked away feeling fulfilled in completely different ways than we had expected.
Yeah. I'll speak for both of us on this. When we first walked in, like we kind of just made a round of the entire expo at the Nashville Fairgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of walked around and we're like, okay, like let's go start talking to people. Like,
Yeah, and like I feel like this is kind of turning into some sort of a promo that like you got to go to an expo or a convention. I would encourage you to do so though because it is pretty exhilarating. And let's go ahead and just segue into what I really want to share today is what we got from being around people who are really part of the tribe that we have joined, the people who are out to be happy and healthy in their own way. There's really three major things that I took away from this whole experience. And the first one is actualize your dreams. I chose the word actualize because the word suggests putting something into action
mm-hmm.
and seeing it and living it. If you want to go to space or go swim in the Pacific Ocean, it might feel impossible. However, you can put the plan together and put the energy toward it, and you can have whatever you want. And we saw that in the people who attended the Fit Expo who were competing.
Mm-hmm.
What was so super cool for me is that there was such a mixed bag of people who were there. So when you think of like fitness people, you might think of like gym rats and like big burly dudes like with no shirt on and like the Muscle Beach kind of guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But who we saw were the power lifters, the CrossFitters, the strongmen group.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw like a couple of those dudes. It was like the Nordic Vikings, with their
Oh
big
yeah,
rippling muscles. But
yeah.
then I also saw like soccer mom pushing babies around in the stroller. They were all there for the same purpose, and they were all there to be inspired by these athletes who are literally people working out at CrossFit boxes and strongman gyms in our own neighborhood.
Yep, and this was them. They're a place for them to just showcase their skills, their abilities, and just to go out there and just have a darn good time.
Well, and it was just so amazing because like I don't know, like there was one guy in particular who was competing and he was with CrossFit Nashville,
Yeah.
which is where our homegirl Tia Claire Toomey
Mm-hmm.
trains,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was definitely watching that pair. And the man in the co-ed duo, he wasn't like, some sort of standout looking guy. Like he was super fit. He kind of just looked like a normal dude until he lifted that 100-pound D ball and did a ground overhead with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crapola,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
I mean, these people are just really incredible. And it's so refreshing to be able to see real people do incredible things. And I mean, really, Frank, it just reminds me that we can.
Oh yeah, and it also it also brings up that you could be inspired by anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody from the particular sport or exercise that you partake in. Like we don't do strongman, but watching the strongman inspires me to want to go harder and go heavier on things. Watching the teenage girls doing Olympic lifts and doing snatches in a competition where they're like, really being judged, wearing the singlet, wearing the number,
Yeah.
having only one or two attempts at a lift, you know, getting inspiration out of those groups of people really goes a long way into, at least for me, my continued drive and focus and performance in the gym.
Well, and and it's kind of interesting because I really felt like I was amongst my people because I felt like some of them were incognito athletes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like they like the gentleman who I mentioned from CrossFit Nashville and some of those women who were doing the strongman and powerlifting, like they didn't give two craps about what they looked like. That was another thing too. I'm really kind of taking a little side detour on this one, but I think it actually segues really, really well into my other point. My other lesson that I learned is that you allow yourself to be fierce, no matter who you are, what your experience has been, how strong you are or where you are in your fitness journey. Why put up a wall? Put on the singlet. Go give it your all, even if you end up in last place. You tried. You made the effort,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it was really inspiring to watch, especially the women for me, to not just give a crap about their curves and their
Yeah.
hair and like,
Yeah.
just all those silly trivial things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're out there being badasses.
Yeah. They're gaining several wins, even if they didn't win the competition. Showing up, putting themselves out there,
Hmm.
being exposed to this massive public that they could be scrutinized in front of for whatever reason, but they went out there and they did it, and they're gaining wins without even, touching the barbell.
Yeah. And I mean, the same actually went for another group that I witnessed. I hope I get the name right. The trainer, her name is Danny D,
Mm-hmm.
and she does like aerobic workouts. She has quite the little following.
Yeah.
The women who were there were all shapes and sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just up there having a freaking ball,
Yeah.
like with their aerobic dancing. And I mean, I kind of wanted to join
Yeah,
in.
there's guys and girls all in there dancing,
Yep.
but also doing workout movements.
It just kind of takes me back to how I used to feel about people like them. I used to be jealous, that they, I don't know, had the courage to step out like that. Or I
Mm-hmm.
would wonder, like, aren't they self conscious? They didn't come in their Spanx like I did,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and things like that. I used to be so worried about my arms and everything. And so it's just, again, so refreshing to watch these young adults, and I mean, really just grown ass adults
Mm-hmm.
too, being fierce and going after what they want.
Yeah.
And that actually brings me to my final lesson, and that is to share your passion. I think I could bounce back to really any of these names that we've already dropped: Danny D, Barbell Voodoo. There were other great brands there, like Blackout Barbell. I know, Frank, you might want to speak about them in a hot second, but like whether it was a company or a trainer, or frankly, just, the people who were out there competing, there's an expression that's
Mm-hmm.
happening, and it's a sharing of ideas, and it's a encouragement, where instead of me standing there and going, God, I'll never be like that, I can't do that, I literally whispered in your ear at one point, like, we could be doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe
Mm-hmm.
we will.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah. The possibilities are endless, especially with what we took away from the expo.
Mm-hmm.
And these companies, they're chasing their dreams and they're
Mm-hmm.
getting their names out there, but individually what these companies stand for, like their own like philosophies
Right.
that they have that then correlate to this public. I think the public is looking for the companies like this. I like the double meanings to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these companies. What I guess Blackout Barbell
Mm-hmm.
is one of them. Their whole thing is blacking out in your workout, so to speak. So you're
Mm-hmm.
just singularly focused. And you could take that blackout mentality to any part of your life. It doesn't have to just be in the gym. You black out when you're at work. To get away from all the other distractions, focus on your task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
You come home and it's time to be with the family. Well, you black out away from the rest of the world and you're singularly focused on your family. So a lot of people in the public can relate to that. That
Mm-hmm.
anybody, you don't have to be in fitness to relate to something like that. And there's other brands that we saw out there that have similar philosophies, if not
Mm-hmm.
their own little spin to it, but they're all about self empowering. They're all about do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about striving to make themselves happy while also giving the public a product that they could be proud of.
Oh yeah, like Nujo was a really cool brand I discovered there. I thought it was coffee, but it's really
Yeah, we
just
both got really excited when we walked by. We're like, oh, it's time for
iced
coffee.
coffee. And she's like, oh, this isn't coffee. It's new Joe. It's a new type of coffee, and it's all made from superfoods.
Mm-hmm.
And her, Carmen, the founder, her whole idea was to like offer something that is healthier, that doesn't have the caffeine, and actually promotes hydration and better rest and things like that. But then on top of that, like, it was just like a passion project for her. She's like, I really just wanted to be able to also help with children being adopted. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what?
The whole thing of her starting this dream leads her to the next one.
Well, and it's all about the happiness and health, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's where all of this becomes very holistic
Mm-hmm.
for all of us as
Mm-hmm.
individuals, whatever our passion truly is. It was completely eye-opening that in an environment that is so often perceived as macho, materialistic, very image based,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of wholesome takeaways
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
I just love having these kinds of experiences with you, Frank. You're my best friend, and my husband, and it's just neat to be able to talk about this too and debrief and just share a little bit with everybody. Is there any like other takeaway that you wanted to throw out there for the listeners?
If you've never experienced an expo, I encourage you to go to one. There's so many around the country or outside the country to go to. Some of the bigger ones, like the Arnold that's in Columbus, Ohio, or Mr. Olympia that's out in Vegas. There's the Rogue Invitational, the CrossFit Games. There's so many that go along with events, but then there's also just regular ones in your backyard that you can go to in your major cities out there. So I encourage people to go to that. You get a lot of good things that you can wear. You get a lot of good things you can eat, which was exciting to me because Alpha Cookies provided me with a bunch of cookies to leave with, and they're made by fitness people, so they're not just chock full of crap. Check out Alpha Cookies. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, they were macro friendly,
because
what they said.
they're very macro friendly, so you can really work it in. And I got 6 different ones, and every single one of them were delicious.
Oh, the chocolate was pretty great.
The cookies and cream one was right up my alley, so I was really happy with that one. But just go out there, experience what's out there, because you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot more things out there besides Nike, Adidas, and Puma, so to speak. So there's all these other brands out there.
Yeah, ones that have really hit home for us to really encourage us to actualize our dreams, allow ourselves to be fierce, and to share our passion, which is exactly what we wanted to do with you today. I so very much appreciate you being here. If there's anything that I can do to support you in your journey to be happier and healthier, I'm here to do it. You could email me at erica@unmaskedwellness.com, or even just check me out on my website. I've got lots of resources and new things coming, so definitely subscribe for my emails as well. So on behalf of Frank and myself,
thank you for having me.
I wish you guys the best day ever. In fact, why don't you just go ahead out and make it the best day ever? See you next week.